And the Spurs win this heavyweight fight. The final 114-103. Vassell with a game-high 25 points, 9 of 13 from the field. 28, excuse me. And he had as many threes by himself as the Pistons had as a team.
Yeah. It just goes to show what we talked about before. I think this helps his case for MVP more than anything. He had a lot on his shoulders. When he doesn't have a good game, this is what happens. He didn't shoot the ball well. He still assisted at a pretty high level, but he just didn't. He didn't look like the Cade we have seen, and the team suffered, which is MVP, most valuable player. So if he's playing at his value, they win this game.
IT, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's always tough for the Detroit Pistons when Cade doesn't play well, because that's when you question, do they have enough offensively? And we always talked about, especially early on in this season, is their spacing, their shooting of the three. It's like when Cade doesn't have a good game and they don't shoot well from three, it puts so much pressure on their defense to have to get multiple stops throughout the game, and that's hard to lean your hard hat on each and every night. So they had a tough one, but I know they'll bounce back.
Steph Castle 16 and 11.
Yep.
And guarded Cade.
Yeah.
Wemby double-double, 12-13, also had 4 blocks. Kevin Huerter didn't play. Do we know if that was an injury or if that was coach's decision?
Ooh.
DNP coach's decision, Kevin Huerter.
He needs space, he needs some shooting.
So that is interesting. But Devin Vassell, when we were kind of talking about this game in the break before we got to the highlight reel, you're like, that's my guy. So peel the curtain back on Vassell as the teammate, the person, and the player, and why you're so happy for him having a game like this.
Well, man, this is a guy one, he was my rookie in San Antonio. He's been there since then. I know it's hard to believe that, but this is a guy that's gotten better every year. Played his way to having a great big contract in San Antonio, and now is trying to fill his way back with that team. You know, he's been in and out of the lineup. He hasn't been healthy enough to play a full year. This is a guy, if he's healthy, that can really take them over the edge. A guy that can get in the defense. He can also assist, but knock down that mid range. You know, we have, especially when you have a person that can knock down that mid range, it makes those 3-point shooters even more important.
And he was a 3-point shooter tonight.
Well, he can do both.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. That's what makes him important, makes him good and important for this team. He can really mix it up when you have those lulls and Wemby's not scoring, or maybe in foul trouble, or Fox or Castle aren't playing up to their capabilities. You have a guy like Devin Vassell, and also Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson, who can also fill up the stat sheet.
So, IT, we got to watch a little bit of this game in the green room before we came out on set for our show, and there was a lot of oohs and ahs from us in the crew watching, because you look up and you see how physical the game was and how physical Detroit specifically was playing Victor Wembanyama. So this was the exchange. So Johnson comes over, and then Duren. Yeah. So that was it. So between the physicality, some chippiness, the teams being as good as they are going into this matchup, as hot as they were, right? San Antonio has now won 9 in a row. This game snapped the Pistons' 5-game winning streak. I mean, this had all the elements of postseason series. Yeah. Now, obviously, these two teams couldn't be in the postseason until the NBA Finals, but it had those vibes.
Yeah, it had those vibes. They know what was at stake for this game. They know the San Antonio Spurs was coming in hot. San Antonio knew Detroit won the last 5 games. Cade Cunningham's been playing amazing. So I think they just took it a little bit more serious. The Spurs did, in terms of the one thing I do like about the Spurs, even if they play OKC or any of them guys with, a superstar type guard, they got like 3 or 4 of them guys that can sit down and guard and make things tough. And I think that's what they did tonight. Like Castle, he guarded for most of the game. Cade Cunningham, you still got De'Aaron Fox, who's a good defender. And then you got Dylan Harper, who's a big enough defender that can guard these bigger guards. And so, man, the Spurs are special. I think they handled this a little better than the Detroit Pistons, but it's not a loss that the Detroit Pistons are like, man, we gotta really figure these things out. They came out physical. They came out playing their way, their style of play, but Cade Cunningham just didn't play to his value like Rudy has said earlier, and I think that was the biggest difference.
Yeah, a big off night for Cade. What I especially appreciate about this game is that you have both these teams in a way, even though they're at the top of the standings, they're playing with that, we got to prove something. Because, Wemby has talked about teams making it a point to play him physically. That happened tonight. Yeah. They overcame it, and they get the win. The Pistons have talked about how, despite the fact that they have been at the top of the conference basically the entire year, they don't feel like they get the respect that they feel they deserve. And so when you got those emotions and those feelings kind of going at it on a basketball court, it can make for really an entertaining game. Rudy, last question for you. Shouts to our man Rodney Davis in the booth. He was wondering if you felt San Antonio is a bad matchup for Detroit specifically. We talked about how they've had their way with the Knicks in 3 games, right? Those 3 victories. But they do not shoot, right? That's not their strength, the Pistons. So they want to get to the paint.
Right.
Got a problem against Spurs when you get to the paint.
Well, I think that's what makes San Antonio so good. They're a bad matchup for everybody. Like they scramble. They have Wemby. Like we talked about the defense that, he makes everybody that much better on defense because he can erase so much of people's mistakes. And I think also we talked about Dillon Brooks a few minutes ago. I think Stephen Castle is kind of like the same person, besides the text and the antics as they call it. But Stephen Castle is a guy that brings the energy on defense. He always picks up the level of play. They have that guy. They have that. They have the shot blocker. They have the interchangeable people on the outside. They have the scorers. They're a new version of a complete team, I believe. Detroit, their plan was to come in and try to punk them. They did it for the most part. I mean, Wemby, he, a little bit under 50%.
I mean, but Sar Thompson, he went instead of like a back pick on Wemby. It was essentially like a slide tackle.
That was probably their point of emphasis.
Yeah, that was their point of emphasis. So the game of strategies, I think San Antonio won it. We questioned their toughness, and we questioned San Antonio's toughness, and we questioned whether Detroit can play well with Cade not having a good game. And I think out of the two, San Antonio won because they can't win without Cade having a good game.
This is we talked about a pivotal stretch for both clubs, for Detroit especially. They got Oklahoma City up next, and they got Cleveland twice in the next few games. And then we'll see this very matchup again. Detroit, San Antonio in 10 days' time. We're out of time in this segment. We're going to take another breather here on the association. Be right back in a minute and watch some of this. We do.
Time for another version of the most electrifying segment in sports entertainment. This is Rudy's Rim Rockers. Up first,
good energy.
None other than Tyrese Maxey. Look, down the lane, left hand.
Ooh,
we know how fast he is, but look, we never see him get up top like that. But this time with the left, hey, and it's on Ant too.
Yeah,
and he looked at
him. Ant too. Look at him.
And he looked at him.
Points for that.
Yeah, Ant got a little late, turned it around.
A little bit. Next up, we got Precious Achiuwa. Why like this one? Look where he takes off from. Look, man, this is something I used to do. Like, when I didn't want to mess around with guards, like, trying to steal the ball, you just jump. Precious Achiuwa, that's what you do, man. Not everybody can do that, man. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, you're right.
This is Rudy's Rim Rockers,
that's
man.
Certified.
All right, look. Hey. We have a cat sighting, everybody. Ooh. Cat in the face. In the face is what they say at the Garden. No, man, Cat's been getting a lot of flack, but look, we love to see this Cat. Look, friend of the program too. You gave me your word. Sure, gave me your word about this show, man. I know you're watching. We need you here. But we have an honorable mention. This is one I'm happy about. This. I see you could probably look. We gotta show you this one. Look at this.
Oh, you gotta
look at this. Between the people didn't see it between the legs. Look at that.
Oh, goodness.
If I was 7'5" with a handle, I mean, this is what I think I would be able to do. Like, this is what you dream of, like, as a basketball player. Not as a regular person, because I flew here today, and that's not comfortable at all. But as a basketball player, you would love to be 7'5" and be able to handle like Wemby.
And then he had the other.
See, you thought I was passing to him?
What was that again? What was it?
Oh.
What was that again? With the shoes.
He said,
It's an appropriate sound effect with the shoes.
oh my, he's walking on it.
Michael Jackson, we're going.
Yeah. No. Class field trip, I would say.
Ooh.
The whole squad
Got
going
the
to
light